Good afternoon, everybody. This is Otis.
And this is Jerry.
We are two guys catching up on football and our weekly show that we enjoy doing. For those of you that might be with us for the very first time, Jerry and I used to work together, and this is what we did every Monday. But I retired, and Jerry missed me a lot, so we decided we would go ahead and put it down for posterity. Or as Bugs Bunny used to say, we put it down for posterior.
Yeah,
Don't know why Bugs Bunny said that, but it was always funny to me, even as a kid. So we have we have just some great stuff that went on yesterday, and I got to tell you, Jerry was watching the Alabama Auburn
Whew.
game, and he was texting me.
Yeah.
I was out playing golf yesterday, so he was texting me, and I kept going, "What happened?" And he'd go, "Oh my goodness!" And I go, "What happened?" And he'd go, "Good grief!" And I go, at the penalty of repeating myself, "What happened?" So I'll let Jerry talk about that.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And the problem was, Otis, every play there was something big happening. In those last 5, 6 minutes, I don't think I've ever seen such a flurry of, oh my gosh, wow, what did I just see? Plays all that fast. And then they cap it off by scoring on 4th and goal from the 31. Are you kidding? I couldn't believe what I had seen. I,
Yeah, I,
got,
I watched the highlight, and I I didn't have a problem with them rushing only two. I don't think they needed the spy because he was not going to.
true.
Once he got past the line of scrimmage, he couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah, true.
So I don't think that he could have run it for 30 something yards. And although the way Auburn played defense and let that guy go one on one with the wide receiver, and he scored from 31 yards out,
I,
he
I don't.
might have he might have run it in anyway.
Yeah, the way that went, he probably would have run it in, or got down to the 10 and pitched it to somebody else who ran it in,
Oh
because
yeah,
there were things
yeah.
that I just have never seen at the end where I thought it was just amazing. It was incredible.
It was as exciting as when Auburn won the game,
Mm.
returning the field goal,
Yeah,
and so which that was totally on Saban, because you got the field goal team is usually a bunch of linemen who are not fast anyway.
right.
So them trying chasing after a fast defensive back did not bode well, and so that was I forgot. Someone said something yesterday what that was going to be called, and I forgot what they called the one where he
Mm.
returned the kick for where he returned the field goal for a touchdown. But they said they got to name that one too.
I
So
still, yeah, you got a spy. You rushed two. You got 8 defenders back, right?
should have been enough.
And how was one guy is on man coverage apparently? So however the 7 other guys are on the other side of the end zone. I don't know what that was all about, but
Yeah, yeah,
it
and
happened.
yeah, that was just too bad because that game was theirs. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
they
absolutely.
should
Yeah.
have won it, especially after the snap got past Milrow and they lost
Yeah.
18 yards on the play.
Well, they really had it. They to me it was well that, and then they Alabama punted, and Auburn fumbled the punt, and that
Yeah,
was just a killer because they really had them on the ropes,
they
and all they
did.
had to do was go down and drive and score, and they may have. We'll never know, but
Yeah,
uh,
or maybe just get a few first
yeah,
downs
yeah,
and
exactly.
the
Yeah,
clock runs out. So
yep, they had
it's
it.
hard to say. um, but that throws things into quite a tizzy.
Woo.
So
Yeah.
now here's what I think the college playoff committee should do. Here's what I think. It's not what they're going to do because nobody knows what they're looking at. And I think for the most part, they don't know what they're looking at. They always do this eye test thing. Well, you don't play the games on an eye test. Otherwise,
Right.
Alabama would be undefeated every single year. So to me, the four undefeated teams, Georgia, Michigan, Washington, and Florida State,
Yeah.
should be the top four teams.
Agreed.
Now, who's five?
Probably
I would
Ohio
say
State.
I would say Ohio State would be
I
five,
agree.
and Oregon would stay at six,
Yeah.
and then Texas at seven.
Yeah.
And I think Alabama should stay at eight. There really
Well,
isn't any reason for them to move up because they had a tight game that they won in the last second
yeah.
against Auburn, who got beat by New Mexico
Yeah.
State the week before, and
And
it wasn't even close.
Auburn is unranked, so yeah.
Yeah, and Auburn is unranked.
Yeah.
So really, Alabama, there isn't any reason to put them up because Texas will probably stay at seven, and then
Yeah, I
Ohio
don't see how
State,
you can shuffle it that much to get Bama
yeah,
up, to move them up. I don't.
and Ohio State probably can go down a little further because they're not going to be playing for the Big Ten title. So
Yeah,
they
no.
can't go into the championship game.
Right.
So they're not playing for a Big Ten title. Washington is playing for the Pac-12, and Florida State is playing for the ACC. Now,
ACC,
here's
yeah.
where the sticky part comes in. Alabama is playing for the SEC title, so
Correct.
that's the sticky part.
Yeah.
So I would say,
We'll see.
yeah, I would say the four undefeated top four teams, um, Oregon and Texas, because they're playing for Big 12. Oregon, Texas be 5 and 6. Alabama moved to 7, and then Ohio State 8 because they're not going to be in a conference championship game.
Right.
And I think that's where they should be because they really don't deserve being in the playoffs. I
No.
mean they lost to the number 3 team, and I guess you can look at it. They lost to the number 3 team, and they lost by 6. But the odds makers always give the home team 3 points anyway. So in
True.
actuality, they really only lost by 3, and so and it was on the road, and so they could give them uh, the benefit of the doubt on that, but I wouldn't want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I kind of would.
I,
I would just go off the fact you have never had a one loss, or maybe they did have one. Ohio
uh,
State, I think, was a one loss non conference champion one year that
in
they won the national championship. And I think that they went in, but they were one of the best teams in the country.
I
So,
I do think for Alabama, well, one thing I did notice in that game is I do think next year Milroe's going to be good. I think he's
he
pretty
is.
good,
He is.
and
He
he's a
is going to be
big,
really good.
stocky. He reminds me of a little bit of Richardson from Florida, who went on to the Colts, although he's hurt
Yeah.
now. But yeah,
Yeah.
big kid,
Yeah.
big guy.
And that's uh they got a lot to build on there.
Yeah,
And so other than the first 2 weeks of the season when he didn't play well, Milrose seems to be making really huge strides.
yeah.
in his ability and what he's seeing on the field and
I
what he's
agree.
doing with their offense.
Yeah.
So he seems to be really improving week by week. Now there are the Alabama sympathizers who will
Well,
say they're playing the best football of anybody in the country, but that's not really true.
well,
Because I think Oregon and Texas are both playing just as well or better.
well,
Because Grandpa Bo is playing really good.
yeah, he's might be Heisman winner. Yeah, Grandpa. Yeah. But Alabama now, the proof will be in the pudding because they'll be on the spotlight next week. So we'll see. We'll get to see. And if
Yeah,
they lose by, I'd say 2 touchdowns, then absolutely there is no way they should be anywhere near the playoffs. So,
yeah. If they beat Georgia,
oh boy.
yeah. I mean, Washington and Florida State have to win out. I mean, they have to
Well,
because if they don't, they're not staying in the top
now,
four.
who does Washington still have?
They've got the Pac-12 championship, and I forget who it is.
And then the other one was Florida State still plays.
Florida State, they have the ACC championship. Oh, they're playing Louisville. Florida State is playing Louisville.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and Louisville's a pretty good team.
Yeah.
And Washington is playing because they just showed it yesterday.
Yeah, no, there's still some things that can get a little, I'd
Yeah,
say, odd or weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would, there's a lot of people say they wanna have the um, chaos. I don't really want the chaos. I want the four best teams, not the guys who got put out because they lost at the most inopportune time. Because they've been good all year. And anybody, I mean, we're talking 19 and 20-year-old kids.
Yeah.
And these kids sometimes may not necessarily show up on any given day.
Right.
So I would rather see, I hope to see Georgia. Michigan is playing Iowa, who they
They,
average they average 13 points a game.
yeah, no, Michigan
Michigan
should be fine. Yeah.
Michigan averages 13 points on the first two possessions of every game.
Yeah.
So this
And they'll
and
have,
Michigan,
Captain Jim will be back on the sidelines for them.
Captain
So
Jim will be back on the sidelines,
they'll be,
and
they'll be able to do an on-field memoriam to him this time next week. So.
yeah, and the college playoff committee. I know they were saying yesterday. I can't. They were doing the whole Looney Tunes cursing. With all the exclamation points, because they were so hoping Ohio State wins that game, so they could leave Michigan out. And I believe they with this rankings coming up. I honestly believe that if Ohio State wins that game yesterday, Michigan is like 5 or 6.
Oh, probably.
And they would have
Yeah.
they would
And
have knocked,
Alabama would have jumped
yeah,
more.
they would have knocked them down quite a
Yeah.
bit. So now I hope the top four as of Tuesday um, all win. I don't think they'll promote Alabama to the top four
No.
simply
I don't think
because
so.
they still have to play Georgia. And
Yeah.
really, Alabama's schedule this year has not been, which is not their fault per se, but it hasn't been great,
No.
like some of the other teams have been. So um, it'll be interesting after the show on TV on Tuesday, who the top four are going to be.
Yeah.
But my choice is Georgia, Michigan, Washington, Florida State.
I agree. I think it stays there. Ohio State moves to 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
that's
least
it. Yeah,
at least 5.
yeah.
Yeah,
And Bama doesn't move.
yeah. Although Ohio State should probably go below Oregon and Texas. Oregon's playing without a doubt the best football,
Yeah.
but Oregon has a tendency to choke in the big moment.
Well,
So,
but this
yeah.
is the first year that they've got Grandpa there. So
Well, no. This is what is this? His second year
in
or third
Oregon,
year?
though.
Yeah, it's his second or third year. He played 2 years at Auburn, and then he
Oh, I
went
thought he
to
came over here.
yeah, no. He played 2 years at Auburn, and then he moved to Oregon.
Or
And
okay.
I don't think he was the starter the
Oh,
first year he was at Oregon, but because Herbert was there. I think
so
Herbert
he's been
was still
around
there.
even longer than I thought originally.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
been
Might
in
be great grandpa. Yeah.
yeah,
He-
he's getting close to great grandpa
yeah.
status.
Yeah.
Um, let
He's
me
going to
see.
challenge Brandon Whedon in the NFL draft to be a quarterback drafted at 29, maybe, or something like that.
Well, was
Uh,
Whedon went and played minor league baseball for a couple of years,
I think so.
and then he came back. So when he came back, he was already a grizzled veteran when he got back.
Ugh.
I think he was like 24 when he got back. So yeah,
I can't complain. I would have liked to have him on the field today for the Browns. It might have helped them out a bit if they had Whedon instead of PJ Walker.
yeah. I'm gonna say I'm gonna ask here, who is Oregon playing?
Yeah, it's not Utah, is it? I don't think so.
I think them and Utah. Well, maybe it is Utah, because I was thinking they were in the same division.
Uh,
Let's see, in the Pac, I think it's Pac-12. Yeah, so I got to learn how to type. Um, so yeah, it was some really good games yesterday, and Washington, did finally pull it out, but they were trying their best to give the game away.
yeah.
Let's see.
I'm checking.
Oh, Washington is playing Oregon.
Oh, there you go. So that's going to shake some stuff up for sure.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
guaranteed to shake it up.
Well, if Oregon wins, they should, because the only team they lost to was Washington. If Oregon wins, they should go into that top 4. If they
No, I agree. Yeah.
yeah
So
if
if
they
that's you could see a big shuffle next week. All depends. Yeah.
there could be if
Yeah. If
if
Bama and
Washington.
Oregon win, who knows what's going to happen? Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
going to get
goodness.
all shaken up. Oh yeah.
I still don't think. Okay, so if Alabama, Oregon, and Texas all win, I still don't think they'll move Alabama in front of Texas, because
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Texas beat them head to head.
Yeah. And
So
Texas has been playing pretty good, like you said.
yeah, and so
So
I don't think that they'll move them. But there's Alabama sympathizers on the committee,
oh
and
yeah,
so,
of course.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
they probably are Alabama boosters.
Oh,
We just
absolutely.
don't
Here's
know it. Yeah. So
Saban will drop off a pecan pie or something to him, or something. The whole thing with check under the lid because there might be some cash in there, by the way, too.
exactly. It was kind of like what's it DeBartolo used to do. He'd leave money on their front porch and they go out and there'd be like $50,000 to $100,000 in a brown paper bag, and they would sit there and go, I don't know where it came from. I kept it, but all right, come on. If you found that money, why not turn it into the police? Because you knew who it came from. That was his way to get around the salary cap
Yeah,
and reward his players.
yeah.
Yeah, they really the owners really should have let him go long long before they did. But he wasn't as bad as some owners were, even with even with giving his players extra bonus money,
Yeah.
paying for them all to go to Hawaii to
Right.
the Pro Bowl, because
Well,
those could have been looked at as bonuses also.
well, they could. You could be a Jim Irsay and say that the only reason I got a DUI is because I'm a billionaire or
No,
what?
no, he said I'm a white
A
billionaire,
white billionaire.
a white billionaire,
Oh.
and it's like when I saw that, I went, "You have got to be kidding
I
me!"
liked the idea. We have a fellow former coworker. I will not mention names,
Yeah.
but he had a great idea of having if he was a Colts player, he would have sat out this weekend in protest of Ursay, his owner. I thought that was a brilliant idea because what Ursay's Snyder needed to go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ursay needs to go.
He does. He
Yeah.
does. But they won't. But good
No.
segue. You know who I like watching even more than the Houston Texans are the Colts. Gardner, and I'm going to borrow from Chris Berman. Gardner, me, Minshew is playing really, really good football, and they have a winning record, even though their starter went down early. And Minshew is playing really good football.
The Colts to me, they're a little bit of they're like the Steelers a little bit to me. Every time I turn around and look, they're winning a game, and they're not going away. They're in the playoff chase still.
They are. Well, I think
Yeah,
they're 2 games behind
uh,
Jacksonville for
yeah.
the
I
division.
don't think that they'll catch. I think after
I,
today, if the Texans had won today, I would have said, "Oh, that division." I think Jacksonville is the best team in that division.
I think they are too.
Yeah.
However, I think the Colts get them twice
Oh, I didn't know that.
within the next few weeks.
Well, then they can shake it up. Yeah,
Yeah, I think the Colts get them twice within the next few weeks.
yeah.
So, and it's Jacksonville. They're going to have a game like they had against the 49ers.
It's true too.
They're
Yeah,
gonna have one of those. They haven't quite learned to not have one of those
right.
games,
That's
even
true.
when you're going against a really, really good team. Because
Yeah.
I mean, they lost to the Texans a few weeks ago, and the Texans hadn't quite gone on the run that they were on.
Texans had them
And
a
so,
little bit on the ropes today. I don't know if you saw the highlight of that kick. It missed by maybe a yard or two. It clunked on the or clanked on the bottom of the goalpost. So
oh no, I
yeah,
missed
he.
them.
I mean, maybe a yard or two, uh,
Uh,
and they would have had it. Yeah,
oh gosh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I
They
really
would have
enjoy
tied it, I
watching the
think.
Texans.
Yeah.
And if they win 10 games, C.J. Stroud, Rookie of the Year,
Yeah,
easily,
yeah.
and D'Amico Ryan, Coach of the Year,
True.
easily.
And in the game, of course, I watched. They'll lose. I believe the Broncos are now 6-5.
Yes.
Don't count them out.
No, they're
As
in the
crazy as
hunt.
it is, you can't count them out now.
Yeah, they're in the hunt for a playoff
Yeah.
spot.
Yep.
And what's that? 5 wins in a row, I think.
I still think, and starting at the start of the year, I would have thought more so the AFC that somebody who's 9-8 might get in, and I think that still might be the case.
And what are the Steelers? 7-4.
7-4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the
Oh, by
Steelers'
the way,
schedule, is not that difficult. I think I looked
No.
today. My early guess would be the Steelers finish 11-6. They're going to get in the playoffs. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Only
And,
problem is if they play the Dolphins or Chiefs, they're going to get slaughtered.
probably,
Yeah.
probably. And today, for the first time, I think they said in 38 games, they topped 400 yards of offense.
59 games, I think.
Oh, was it 59? Okay.
Woo! Yeah.
Okay.
How
Yeah.
about that? Yeah.
But now, surprisingly, in their 59 games that they haven't topped 400,
Yeah.
that's it.
Th-
In their 59 games, they're 36 and 23
Incredible.
in those 59 games. So who does that? So
That's Tomlin in
yeah,
defense. Yeah.
another team got Tomlin again today.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Tomlin wins. That's all he
Yeah,
does.
it doesn't matter. And now Kenny Pickett almost threw for 300 today.
Yeah.
So whatever they decided to do. So the quarterback coach is not the offensive coordinator, but he called the plays.
Yeah, he
So
did today. Yeah.
they have someone who's the offensive coordinator who put in the game plan, and then the quarterback coach um, called the plays. So he did a really good job of calling plays today.
I think that they said I watched a large part of that game. I believe a big difference was I can't remember the guy's name, like the interim coordinator, but much more communication on the sideline between
Mhm.
everybody than in the past.
Yeah, yeah,
Getting everybody on the same page. So
and that's
I'm
and
still
that's
not. I wouldn't. I don't know. I'm not a Steelers. I don't see them. Can they go on and win the Super Bowl? No,
I
no
don't think
way.
so.
Yeah, I don't
But
think so. Yeah.
I would not put anything past Mike Tomlin. If he makes it
No.
to if he makes it into the playoffs,
Yeah.
he is going to muddy the game. He is going to make it ugly,
Yeah.
and he's going to keep it close, and the defense will somehow manage to win it.
Yeah. You're
Whether off
and
whether
you,
off a fumble recovery for a touchdown or because let's say they play the Ravens in the championship game. They
yeah.
beat the Ravens like 5 or 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you do make me think we're getting at the time of year you don't. Well, I don't want to say you don't want to, but these games in Baltimore, Pittsburgh, even Cleveland, if they can get there, I don't think they probably will. But uh, weather,
oh yeah,
it's going to be cold, and teams like the Dolphins. Then you throw them in Pittsburgh or in Baltimore, so
and
it's going to be a big
Kansas
factor.
and Kansas City
Yeah,
might not
Kansas
have
City's another one. Yeah,
Kansas City though might not have the home field throughout the playoffs.
yeah.
They might not. So there's the Dolphins and Ravens both have an opportunity
I,
to
I
have that number one seed. So
I do give the Chiefs. They're another one. I think in general, overall in the league, the Chiefs have the best coaching staff. Their defense from week one and week two compared to what we saw the other night, their defense is a lot better.
oh yeah,
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 and
much
it's
much
coaching.
better.
They're on the same page again, and it's just
Yeah,
coaching. Yeah,
yeah, much
yeah. The
better.
Chiefs are incredible to me because they just plug people in, and they make them good.
Yeah,
And they just keep
yeah.
rolling along. Yeah.
Now the Thursday night games, I really enjoyed. The Seattle game with the 49ers. It's always a toss up with that one because Seattle just knows how to play them. The
Yeah.
49ers are just better. They
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they just
Yeah.
got a better team.
I think I texted you at one point too. Is we saw Geno, the New York Jets Geno, in that game.
I think he's hurt though.
Oh, possibly.
I think he's hurt. I think his shoulder is still hurt, and
But
so
but in general, I know at the start of the year you thought Seahawks might win that division.
yeah,
I think the 49ers, I really don't think, well, I was going to say only injuries can stop them, but the team in Philadelphia might be able to stop them. That's it.
And Philadelphia did not look very good against the Bills today. I think they pulled the game out. I believe
I,
they wound up winning.
yeah, but the only other one I think the Niners would be, of course, the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's
no, it's
see.
still going on.
Oh, okay.
They are leading.
Okay, 2 minutes left. Bills have the
And
ball at,
Buffalo's on the 9 yard line of Philly.
yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. The Eagles did not look very good today. So they didn't look like the best team in the NFL like they had previous weeks and stuff.
Yeah.
So
But I give the Eagles, I do. Here I go again with Donovan McNabb. But Jalen Hurts, after that last game where they pulled it off against the Chiefs, I kind of liked what he said at the end as doesn't matter what the score is at the end of the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. What matters is the score at the end of the game.
yeah,
And
and
and I
that's
thought
true.
the Eagles looked horrible in the first half of that game versus the Chiefs. They looked
Oh
really
yeah,
bad. And
yeah,
yet
they
they
did.
won. They still
They
won.
did, but they pulled it out,
Yeah.
and now he's hurt also. He hurt his knee a couple of games ago and is still kind of sore.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, that just means that instead of being able to bench press 600 pounds, he's only able to, or he squats.
Squats, yeah. So
He squats 600
yeah.
pounds.
Yeah, the
Now he can
brotherly
only
shove.
he
Yeah.
can only do 450 now.
So
So so oh they
and I think that's next week is the big one, which they should flex to nighttime.
they
That
should,
should be the
but
Sunday night game.
I think it's too late to do it.
Oh,
Uh, um, uh, One of my buddies, I won't say who, told me that each of the networks gets to tell NBC no on a game that
oh,
they want to flex. And so NBC wanted to flex the 49ers Eagles to Sunday night. Fox said no.
yeah.
So that's why
Yeah, interesting
that's
is
not
that you make me. I would have liked to have seen like today. I think it's Chargers and Ravens later.
yeah.
Now, it would have been fun to me to see Jags and Texans because they're playing for first place, I believe, in the division.
That would have been
So
better.
take if you can take the most important matchup of the day,
Yeah.
or most interesting, and put it and flex it.
Yeah. So that would have been the most apropos thing to do, but it wasn't how it turned out. So it's just kind of one of those things. So all right, buddy. Well, thank you for another great outing.
Yep.
Um, and we're gonna. I'll see you next week, and
Yep.
we're gonna have a
Another
little.
big week. Yeah.
Yeah, here's a little traveling music. Yeah, because all the conference championships are this week,
Oh
and
yeah, it'll be a
so
big week.
yeah, here we go to send us off on the right foot. Thank you again. We had a great time, and this is Otis,
And this is Jerry.
and this is two guys catching up on football. Later.
We'll see you next week.